Okay, for this listening, I will talk about and I will give you some information about this lady here. If you don't know who she is, her name is Princess Diana. She was very, very famous, very, very popular in England. So, Princess Diana was born in 1961. And she's famous because she married this man here. His name is Prince Charles, and he is the son for the Queen of England. I can't remember when they got married, but they were married for 15 years and then they got divorced. When they were married, they had 2 children. They have Prince Harry and Prince William. Prince William is the oldest, and he will be the next king of England. So she was famous, and this happened, I think, 1981, maybe 1982, she got married. So when I was not a baby, halas, I was not even alive, okay? So I checked with Google, and she got married in July 1981 at St. Paul's Cathedral. Now, her wedding was very, very, very popular in the UK. They said over 750 million people watched the wedding on TV, or they went to London to see the wedding. So there were so many people, you can see in the picture, different to now with Corona, but 750 million, so everybody was watching on TV. Now, the wedding was very, very expensive. You can see her dress here. I can't remember how much the dress was. I think Google said it was, let me do the math, about, actually not so much, 50,000 dirham, more than your Eid dress for sure. And this part of her dress, like the head and the tail, this was 8 meters long. So I think it's a little bit difficult for her to wear. In total, the whole wedding, everything about the wedding, cost more than $100 million. So it was a very, very expensive wedding. Of course, with nice gifts, with food, with so many people. But it was a very special occasion in the UK, and it was very popular. Now, after they got married, they had to decide where to live. And the same as the Sheikh in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, the Queen has more houses, maybe 10, 20, 30 houses. So these are some of the houses for the Queen. Now this one here is Buckingham Palace. This is in London, and this is the main house for the Queen of England. Usually she stays here. Sometimes she stays here in Windsor Castle. These are both in London. Prince Charles and Princess Diana, they didn't stay here. They lived in this house, which is actually a little bit smaller. This one is called Highgrove, and it's not in London. It's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours from London. So they stayed here, they lived here, they had some nice gardens, it was a nice house, but it's not as big as these two. And then the last one is Balmoral. This one is not in England, this is in Scotland. And this is where they would go every summer for their vacation or for their holiday. Now, when she was the princess, Princess Diana was the most popular woman in England. She was more popular than the Queen, and she was more popular than Prince Charles. This was a little bit of a problem, because everybody in England, they want to see the princess, they love the princess, and her husband, Prince Charles, was a little bit jealous. So, unfortunately, they didn't have a happy marriage, and that's why eventually they got divorced. In these pictures, we can see that she travelled to many countries. I think this is Sheikh Mohammed, a long time ago. When was it? She visited the UAE, so both Dubai and Abu Dhabi, in 1989. And this is the picture when she arrived in Dubai airport. Kind of like a shayla, but kind of like a hat. So, mashallah, nice style for the UAE. And yeah, here she is with the sheikhs. Now, if you didn't know, this story has a very sad end, because Princess Diana died in a car accident when she was 36 years old. She was in Paris, and because she was so famous, the newspaper always trying to take her picture. And her driver was driving so fast to get away from everybody with their cameras that they had an accident, and sadly she died. Like her wedding, her funeral was very popular. In England, 32 million people watched on TV for her funeral, and then in other countries as well, more than 100-200 million people were watching what happened. Also, when she died, so many people would take flowers. They would put the flowers at the Buckingham Palace, the Queen's house. They would put the flowers at her house. They would put the flowers in the church. In total, they say there were more than 60 million flowers for her funeral. And like you can see in the picture, so many flowers, so many people crying. It was very sad. So that is the story of Princess Diana, who sadly died, but she was the most popular woman in England, and even now people remember her.